Hi guys. So this video is for section 3. So let's take a look at the app here. So this is an app that displays a data set, right? So at first, on the far left here, it shows the the app has what data set name. So it has text input, right? And just like the app in the second section, the previous section, it doesn't do anything at the start, right? And then when the user enters a correct dataset's name, then it displays the dataset, right? So this part is similar to section 1, very first app. Remember that in the very first app, um, the app required an even number, right? And when the user provides an odd number, it gives a warning and cancel the output, right? So it requires the even number, an even number, right? So this app here, it requires a correct dataset's name, right? And then it displays this dataset. So this app here is combining the previous two sections, right? It combines the lessons from the previous two sections. One additional wrinkle here is that this app continues to display the last good value. So here, at first, the user enters correct dataset name. Uh, so let me zoom in further. So is it iris, right? So it displays iris dataset, and then the user um, looks like user deleted last S, so IRI, and and the app gives this warning and says unknown data set, right? But continues to display the last good value, which is this iris data set. Okay? All right. So let's take a look at the code here, right? So, oops, sorry about that. So on the UI side, um, as in section 1, we have shiny feedback, use shiny feedback. So this, along with the pairing function here, shiny feedback package, feedback danger, function. Those are the ones that are responsible for this warning, right? Unknown data set. And it has text input and table output. Okay. So the UI side is very simple. The server, so we have a data output as reactive value, right? So we need to define the data object here. Uh, and we have a render table with a head function wrapping around data reactive value, right? That part is simple. But here, when we define data, right? First, we have required function. Um, so it requires dataset's name, right? So this is responsible for the app doesn't do anything on load or at the start, right? Because it requires a dataset. Now, we have a second required function here, right? So this is responsible for displaying data set only if a correct data set name is given, right? So for that, we define or we create this exist uh, object that takes either true or false. So we use exist function. So what this function basically does is this user provided data set, does it exist in datasets package, right? So that's basically what it is. If it does, then exist takes true, otherwise false. And then we use this exist object in feedback danger function, right? So the first argument in feedback danger function is input ID, and then exclamation mark is the negative, right? So if the data set, user provided data set exists in the datasets package, right? And then exist takes true, then exclamation mark with an exclamation mark, then it turns into false, right? So if it is false, then display this message, unknown data set, right? Otherwise, move on. And the get function here displays or grabs this data set from datasets package. And that becomes this data reactive value. And render table function um, renders this data set, right? Okay. So let's do this in our studio. Okay, so let's create a file, save as section 3, right? And let's delete them all. Then Shiny app, right? So we have Shiny feedback function, right? Is that the package? Shiny feedback, yes. And use Shiny feedback. Did I spell everything correctly? Shiny feedback, right? And use, so let me use Shiny feedback, all right? And comma, we need text input, right, for dataset name, text input. And for text input, we need input ID, label, right? So those are the two mandatory arguments. So we have dataset for the ID and dataset name for label. So dataset name, was it? Yeah, with lowercase n, doesn't matter. And then we have output table output and output ID. Is it table or data? Data. Again, this is arbitrary name. All right, so UI side is done. So if you run app, so it looks like this, right? So now it doesn't do anything because we don't have any code for in the server side, right? So we need the matching uh, function here on the server side for table output, right? Which is what output. This output ID should match this one here, data, right? And the matching function for table output is render table, right? And then we use head and data. We're going to create data reactive value right up here. I need to fix this indentation here. So what is it? So data of dash reactive curly bracket. So the first thing, right? We need to require data set. So this data set input ID should match this data set input ID, right? So what is this for? This is to uh, hold off execution uh, until the user provides data set, right? So it doesn't do anything uh, at the start. And then um, we need to check exist. Did I spell it correctly? Yeah. So the data set that user provides, does it exist in what? In package data set, right? So we can let's see how this works. So exist. So exist. The second exist is a function. The first exist is an object. We can name it differently, but let's go with that. And let's say iris. But first of all, let's see package. No, data set. Data sets. So data sets is a package, right? And it has all these data sets, including iris, in, that's in the textbook, right? But it could be any other here, air miles or iris, right? So exist, exist. Let's say iris, right? And then package data sets. So again, what this means is we're saying does this data set iris, okay, exist in data set package, right? Then exist is true, right? And say IR Erie, does it exist? False, right? Okay, and we're gonna use another function get. So get function, iris. This function go grabs actual data. Okay, and that's what we'll need here later here in the code here. All right. So so the next one is what is it? Shiny feedback provide danger, right? So what is it? Feedback danger. Okay. To first input ID, and is it true or false? The logical value, and then the message, right? Okay. So shiny feedback and feedback danger. Input ID was data set and negative exist. So when it's false, right, the data set doesn't exist, provide this message, and the message is unknown data set, right? And then we're going to provide another require. So if this is true, if the data set is true, right, then do the following. And the following was go grab the data. So we're requiring this. In other words, if the data set doesn't exist, don't execute this code here, right? So that's basically what it is. Uh, so I think we got everything. So let's run app. So Iris, hmm, no item called package. Oh, data sets. Is it data sets? Uh, yeah, data sets. Data sets. It's in here, data sets. So Iris. Oh, so it's not true or false. So it's not exist here. I want you to go get the data itself, right? Iris. There you go. And if it's the data set doesn't exist, then unknown data set, right? So everything is good. So one last wrinkle here is, it can. I'm sorry. So so here, when the user provides iris, a correct data set, right, it displays a table or data. And then um, when it provides incorrect data set, right, it gives a warning and continues to display the last good value, which is iris data set, right? And that is from this argument here, cancel alpha equals true, okay? So we need to add that argument so that um, the app continues to display the last good value. Okay, so here hit tab, cancel output, true. So now reload the app, iRest. Now I read. So there's a message, unknown data set, but it continues to display iris data set. Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. So I'll see you in the next video for section 4.